Hello everybody, how y'all doing? My name is Rafael and welcome to another Division 2 video. Today we have once again an Umbra Initiative build. I know it's been the third video in a row, only Umbra Initiative builds, but first of all, you guys really seem to enjoy them. They're doing amazingly good. Second of all, the build is super fun to play with, all three of them in my honest opinion. And third of all, I promise you that tomorrow there's going to be something else on the menu. It's going to be Division 2 again, but it's not going to be an Umbra Initiative build. So let's see what we've got here. We have the highest critical hit damage in the entire game, I'm pretty sure, right? We can push this build all the way up to almost 500% critical hit damage. I think we reach numbers such as 490 something percent of critical hit damage. However, it doesn't really output as much damage as the version that you see right now with the 458% critical hit damage. I'm going to show you the comparisons between the almost 500% critical hit damage build and the one that I'm running right now later on the video. But first of all, let's see what we're using. Of course, we're using the Backfire because of its truly unique and amazing talent. Payment in kind, dealing damage to enemies adds a stack of plus 1% critical hit damage up to 200 stacks, lasting 10 seconds. On reload, apply a 10-second bleed to yourself, which deals 0.5% armor damage per stack. So basically, you need to find a way to get your armor back really fast in order to survive when you're using the Backfire, because going all the way up to 200 stacks, when you do that bleed, it's going to be brutal. Let me actually show you, right? Of course, you're using the Umbra Initiative for the 100% extra critical hit damage, but most importantly for the survivability that it offers, because it's the only build that can allow us to have such an easy and such fast armor regeneration, right? So, $55 stacks. You can see the bleed already starts. 110 stacks. Boom, 200 stacks. Reload. Let me actually get behind cover because I will die otherwise here. As you can see, if we don't get behind cover, if we don't get the armor regeneration from the Umbra Initiative, we will die very fast. What's also great, you gotta see the full damage numbers that we can get. Max damage per bullet I can get is 764. As you can see, I'm not bleeding anymore. I have 200 stacks. I can maintain them as long as I get a stack once every 10 seconds, right? I then reload my weapon and I'm not bleeding. That's because once you reach the max stacks, once you reach 200 stacks, probably you noticed that on the gameplay as well that I showed you earlier, the bleed doesn't happen anymore, but you have the 200% extra critical hit damage. Now that you saw the damage, now that you saw how the blade works, let's talk about the rest pieces of the build. Now let's talk about Umbra Initiative real quick. At 2 pieces we get 15% critical hit chance, at 3 pieces we're gonna get 30% reload speed, and then we have the 2 important buffs of this gear set, from the shadows and into the light. The first one from the shadows is the offensive buff. While you're in cover, gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give you 1% critical hit damage increase and 0.3% RPM. Buff does not apply while you're shooting from cover. So in order for you to gain those stacks, in order to gain that extra critical hit damage and that extra RPM, you need to be out of cover. While you're out of cover, you're going to lose 2 stacks per second at normal speed and 1 stack per second if you're sprinting. What you can also do is you can equip the chest piece, which will increase the max stacks from 50 to 100, and it will increase the stacks you gain per second from 10 to 20. So basically you need 5 seconds behind cover in order to get your 100 stacks, as you can see right now, and boom, you have all the buffs, you have all the stacks. Now moving on to the second buff, right, the defensive buff. While you're out of cover and in combat, gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give you 0.8% armor regeneration when it's consumed. Stacks consume 10 stacks per second only in cover, and if we have the backpack equipped, it increases our max stacks from 50 to 100, and it also increases the stacks we gain from 10 to 20, as well as the stack consumption from 10 to 20. So basically, when I go out of cover and in combat, you will see the buff starts stacking up. And now if I take damage, as you will see, I'm getting hurt over here. If I go behind cover, let me actually take down all my armor. There we go. If I go behind cover, each second I'm gonna be getting 20 stacks. 20 stacks translate to 16% of my armor back. So that's what makes this build work. Because of the insane build that we're going to be dealing with from the Backfire, we need something to give us back all our armor. As you saw from the gameplay, it comes back. You need to be a little, careful. You need to have in mind that, I need to build up my stacks. I need to get behind cover when the bleed comes and things like that. But overall, it's not really hard to get used to. Now that we're done with the gear set, the two other pieces I'm using is of course a Circle of Concern piece for the 10% SMG damage. All my items, as you might have noticed already, have maxed out critical hit damage. 12%, 12%, 12%, 12%, 12, 12, 12, 12, and 12. The last piece of course is the Fog Sprayers, simply for the 8% damage targets out of cover. And then I'm also getting 5% critical hit damage from my Backfire, from the muzzle, this little piece over here. And I'm also getting 20% from my SHD watts. Keep in mind that if you add the SHD watts, all the attributes and the mods that I have in here, as well as the 5%, you're gonna get 133%, not 158. That's because I was really confused here. I was doing the math. I realized that numbers didn't add up to what I was getting here. So I Googled it and I found out that every weapon in the game comes with 25% base critical hit damage, which is something that I didn't know. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it makes sense. The numbers add up that way. So I'm guessing it's one of those things that the game never mentions but actually happens. So that's why we get 158% critical hit damage and not 133. Now, how are we going to get all the way up to 458? That's easy. We're going to get 200% critical hit damage from the Backfire when we have max stacks, and we're also going to get 100% critical hit damage from the Umbra Initiative when we have max stacks, right? So when I have max stacks with this build right here with 458% critical hit damage, you will see that I'm hitting for, let me actually get there. Okay, so we are at 200 stacks, right? If I go out of cover and get the Umbra Initiative buff, our damage will be 764,000. Let me get it again for you so you can see. 764,000, right? That's with just 458% critical hit damage. Don't worry about it here not showing it because it doesn't count the buffs and things like that, right? Now, if I change a couple of pieces, if I get my Coyote mask and then Grupo Sombra knee pads, right? With 200 stacks, Coyote mask and Grupo Sombra knee pads, the highest damage we can get is 726, so that's lower. So even though with the Coyote mask, at 5 meters we're gonna get an extra 25% critical hit damage, that 25 is gonna push us all the way up to 197.9% plus 300. That's almost 500% critical hit damage minus 2%, right? The damage is not as high as it is with the initial build, with the Circle of Concern mask. Let me get the gear mode back. And the Fog Sprayer knee pads. So yeah, that's it pretty much. The whole idea of this build is go in cover, right? Build up your rate of fire and your critical hit damage. Go out of cover, start firing. When you reload, go back in cover. So those builds that you were building up while you were out of cover and firing, when you go behind cover, are gonna translate to armor regeneration, which is gonna counter the bleed that you're gonna have to deal with because of the SMG stacks. While you're reloading, go behind cover. When you're done reloading, go back out of cover. Start shooting, maybe pop a medkit if things go too bad or whatever. What I found being the most difficult with this build to control, so to say, it's not the bleed that will come from the Backfire itself, it's the damage that the enemies are gonna give to you, because you can control the bleed. You know when it's gonna happen. You can pretty much on average guess how much bleeds you're gonna have to take, so you know if you have enough armor, you know if you can pop a med kit, you know if you have your stacks, your Umbra Initiative stacks, which will counter the bleed. What you cannot calculate, what you cannot predict, is how hard the enemy's gonna hit you, if you get flank, and all those kind of things. Those are the things that you need to really worry about, not the bleed from the Backfire, because that gets cancelled from the Umbra Initiative if you're using the out of cover and in cover buff correctly, so to say. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Thank you for the support you have been showing the last couple of days. You're truly insane, guys. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Thank you for liking and for sharing the video. The views are just insane. I really appreciate it, and it makes me really happy to see that you guys enjoy what I'm putting out there. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye bye.